Very good morning to you once again, and this is The Brief. It is back in the new year with lots going on. We're talking politics, we are talking infrastructure, we're talking also, we've got some gossip at the end of the session as well, so you really do want to stay with us. Let's start first with this first story, a bitter battle taking place in the Democratic Alliance. Axed Environment Minister Deon George has reported party leader John Steenhuisen to the Public Protector. Now, it is the lead story in today's edition of the Sunday Times. Of course, our friend Deputy Editor Mike Siluma joining us here for the first time this year. Mike, happy, all of that.
Thanks for having me. Happy to you too.
I hope it's been good to you so far.
Yeah, it has.
Okay,
it has
but not so good to the DA. Shame. Some folks in the DA.
No. They're in an uncomfortable place, an unusual place.
That's what I was going to say. It's very unusual to hear see this kind of dirt being flung around. Yes.
Usually they're very meticulous in managing comms, managing communications, managing PR. You know, I think of all the major parties, they have succeeded in the past, you know, to control the narrative, you know, putting out the narrative of one united, one happy family kind of thing. And most of their talking would be done by the spokespeople or people like Helen Zille, or John Steenhuisen, you know. So it is very unusual, you know, it's unprecedented actually for a senior person, a senior member of the DA to take the leader of the party to any structure, you know, a constitutional structure, or, you know, but basically to hang the dirty linen, you know, outside for all to see. And it's very unusual. Now you've got a senior person, Deon George, taking the leader of the party to the Public Protector. Well,
and like I said, it's not just, you know, allegations or claims that of whether it's corruption or whether it's this. There's also some other stuff thrown in here. So what Deon George is upset about is, of course, his axing, and then, you know, who his replacement, I think, might be, and what that family,
Ockham,
and what the Ockham family was involved in. But then it goes a little further, leaked claims. Tell us more about, firstly, what he's saying about that appointment and Willie Ockham and the family, and then there's things like sexual harassment that come in, and all kinds of allegations. Tell us more about what you're carrying here.
No. What sparks this off is the sacking of Deon George. Because remember, at the time that he was being sacked, there were allegations made against him. You know, the ones that you've just alluded to, that he was terrible to his staff. There was even talk of incompetence, etc. So he saw red, actually, you know, being accused of incompetence in the media, etc. So I think they really hurt him, you know, quite deeply, you know. And from then on, I think he decided he was going to deal with John Steenhuisen, you know. But, you know, the subtext of that also is that there's a DA national elective Congress coming up in April. And there has been talk of putting up a challenger to John Steenhuisen in that conference. You know, people have mentioned, for example, the mayor of Cape Town, Jordan Hill-Lewis, that he could be a potential challenger to John Steenhuisen. So these things have got a backdrop of political positioning ahead of the conference. You know. So but in terms of what he's asking, he's saying to the Public Protector is that he's saying that John Steenhuisen has abused his powers, you know, gone over and above. In other words, he doubles up. You know, his roles are confused because they overlap, because he's the party leader, he's in the GNU, he's the one who he wields all the power. Basically, he can get people fired as he, you know, engineered his dismissal. But also, he's saying that he was interfering in his department, the Department of Environmental Affairs, you know, while he was there as minister, trying basically to swing things and policy in favor of the canned hunting lobby. Which he is accusing Willie Ockham of being supportive of.
All right. Well, we'll see what happens. I suppose that relationship is one that has been damaged quite a bit, and it'll be interesting to see how they put themselves together. Let's touch very quickly while we're here. We are talking politics, and of course the ANC outlining 6 key priorities that it will focus on this year, including economic transformation, fighting crime, and organizational renewal, as we saw Party President Cyril Ramaphosa delivering the ANC's January 8th statement at Moroleng Stadium in the northwest yesterday. Now, that is a province plagued by constant service delivery challenges. Mike, I don't know about you, but just watching the coverage of that, In a province where they say they enjoy very, very good support, I didn't see a very full stadium.
Yeah. I think the contradiction always with the ANC, you know, the dynamic that governs the ANC and the electorate is that they tend to get the biggest support in the poorest and the least serviced areas. You know, if you go to the rural areas, for example, if you look at Northwest is one of the worst run
We've heard all the stories in the run-up to this event yesterday.
There's the shortage of water, shortage of pretty much everything. You know, and the councils there are very badly run. I think you remember some time back, you know, the dairy company at Clover had to leave one of the towns in Northwest because the services, water, the municipality just couldn't support the businesses in the place. So it is not just for individual residents, it is also for the economy.
For business as well.
Of Northwest, you know. So that is the irony, you know, that you up to now at least, you know, you've had the areas or the places that were least serviced, badly serviced, would be the ones where the ANC has drawn its political support from. But I think that is changing. I think you will see, you know, the days of the ANC going anywhere and filling the stadium and all of that. You know, that is changing very rapidly.
No matter how many T-shirts you hand out at this point. But overall, your impression of what we heard from Cyril Ramaphosa? I mean, there was a little bit of, you know, where he kind of, I think, would have been in touch when he mentioned he knows they are aware about water, they are aware of infrastructure, but he's been aware of it for a long time. I mean, just overall, your impression of just that speech and how effective the statement.
My sense is that I don't know if the speechwriters, you know, in the ANC actually do read the previous ones, you know, because the key issues that people are complaining about are not changing, you know.
You can acknowledge them, but
you can
what's the
acknowledge
plan?
them. And they are very good at diagnosing the thing, to say we've got to deal with that. Like yesterday, you know, yesterday he mentioned the issue of, he said load shedding has been resolved, but there's a lot of load reduction. Now, load reduction is the biggest pain for the ANC's main constituency, you know, in the townships, in the rural areas. It is a big problem. People are living with that. You know, you're getting like rationed power, basically, you know, when the rest of the country is not subjected to the same, you know. Now, it affects a lot of people, it affects millions of people. Now, he is aware, and he's been aware, like all of us, that it's been going on, you know. But to go there and speak as if it's a great revelation, you know, is a problem. But I'm finding that a lot of these speeches, whether it's the State of the Nation or whether it is the January 8, they tend to go over the same ground. You know, they tend to go over the same
I think it's
ground.
pretty much a precursor to what we might hear in State of the Nation.
It's like a cut and paste almost, you know. And it's all promises, you know. It's very rare that they come back and say, this is what we have done.
And this is our plan.
This problem is gone. It's resolved, you know.
And to say we're coming to this area next. I mean, that's what people want to know. When is our when and if is our turn? And pretty much, I think what we can expect to hear when it comes to State of the Nation. I mean, he's a very tired-looking Cyril Ramaphosa. I must say, I said it yesterday as well. He's looking. He's not looking very well these days. He's looking like he's taking some strain.
But also he talked about, you know, international affairs as usual. You know, to say we will not be bullied, etc. Kind of thing, which is what has been said before, you know. I think what South Africans want to know is how are all these these problems going to be resolved? What is the plan going forward? Whether it is dealing with the United States, which is going to be a big problem for South Africa going forward, you know.
New ambassador designated.
It's going to be there. There are so many landmines, you know, in that. So people want to know, what are we going to do? You know, are we still wanting to engage with the U.S. or are we disengaging? Is AGOA going to continue with all the jobs that we wanted to keep, or you know, all of that, or you know, is the U.S. our enemy, our mortal enemy? And actually, we don't even need anything. We don't need them. They can just walk away.
And I think also as the ANC, for the first time, you're going to have to say yes. As the ANC, you want to do this. But as part of government, you've got to you've got to get the buy-in from so many other parties, and that needed to be, you need to bear that in mind.
So life is not going to be as straightforward, you know,
not
for the ANC
all.
going forward. You know, it's going to be very complicated, partly for that reason.
Sure. Two of these parties, the DA and the ANC, not having a very good start to the year, I'm afraid, for them. But it's one to watch as we head towards local government elections. Mike Siluma, you'll be back to tell us more about a very juicy story involving a very expensive car and a certain DJ. But we'll talk about that just before we wrap up. So that's on the way. Still to come, though, we're going to chat to the reporter, Yoliswa Sabua, who uncovered this story, how Gauteng lost 1 billion rand on, guess what, unfinished schools. That's on the way. Sure. Welcome back. This is The Brief, where the folks from the Sunday Times come on over to us here and tell us what's making headlines, their big stories, what they've been focusing on, and their exclusives as well. And this is one of them. The Gauteng government is getting an F on its report card when it comes to building schools. The province has lost 1 billion rand, and that's on unfinished schools. Well, Sunday Times journalist Yoliswa Sabua joining us now to tell us about what she found on the story. Yoliswa, good morning. I'm scared to ask what the F stands for, but we'll leave it at that for now. It's a family show. All right. So tell us about how you got onto the story, first of all. What led you here? I know it's start of the year, it's back to school, but what led you specifically to this one?
Okay, what actually happened is that in December, I had an exclusive interview with Gauteng Infrastructure Development MEC Jacob Mamabulo. So they were concerned about a number of projects that have been left abandoned, even though millions of rands have been paid. But then when they gave me the document, I was actually worried about the number of schools that have been left incomplete, especially knowing that a number of kids, actually a number of learners in Gauteng are still being taught in container classrooms. And now we've got more than 5,000 grade 1s and grade 8 pupils who are still not placed because there aren't enough schools.
And okay, so they acknowledged to you, the department acknowledged that they are aware that they are behind in terms of infrastructure, not
education. So but infrastructure, yes.
So they've acknowledged it.
Yeah.
What is their explanation for it?
What the MEC said is that a number of contractors don't have enough funds to run the projects, and then they end up like abandoning. Leaving them. And also with the department, they don't enforce the timelines as well.
Okay, well, I'm just looking here, and it says this department here, its ability to deliver has been undermined by a financial crisis, as they said, and then more than 90 lawsuits as well, amounting to 2 billion rand, with contingent liabilities estimated at 800 million rand. Lawsuits. Did you manage to squeeze out of them what those lawsuits are about?
No, I didn't. That will be my second story.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to be chatting to you soon.
My focus for now was on the schools.
On the schools, of course. Yeah. And then, I mean, one was a project that began a decade ago.
Yes,
and
10
the other
years ago.
10 years ago, still not complete.
It's complete. It's one of the 2 schools that will be handed over next week.
Okay, and the other one is like sort of 5 years overdue. 5 years.
That's the one I visited this week. Yeah.
You know what I'm wondering about, Yoliswa, is we've chatted to the Gauteng Education Department for the whole of last year, we had a whole lot of issues, shortage, like we say, of spaces.
Yes.
I don't recall them ever talking about unfinished schools like this. Are they not aware? Are they also just, you know, sort of helping their friends at the infrastructure department just keep this on the lowdown? Have they said anything to you about it?
No, nothing. I sent a media inquiry early this week, and they did not respond.
They have not responded?
They have not responded, yeah.
Okay. For you, what was the sort of most upsetting thing about the story as the reporter?
It was when I visited Nansfield Primary School in El Dorado Park. I spoke to worried parents, and, you know, what concerned me is that pupils were housed in container classrooms, and these container classrooms aren't far from the newly built school. It's just in the same street, and there's no space. It's not enough container classrooms, meaning that kids are being cramped in these container classrooms. You can imagine when it's very hot and you've got a class of more than 40 kids in one container.
Yeah.
And the parents also said that in this temporary school, there was issues with water.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just the start. I think that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Yes.
Well, you have spoken to quite a few community members and parents as well. Tell me more about what they had to say. I mean, let's bring it home. We know the general issues of what's happening, kids in learning containers, lack of space. Bring it home for what this actually does to a parent and a child and a community at the end of the day.
For instance, we went to Zola at Gauteng Secondary School. According to parents, it used to be the pride of the community. It was the school that was producing best results. But then, unfortunately, it was built on a wetland. And then over the years, it started deteriorating, and there was one time when the walls collapsed.
Wow.
And I visited the school before. You could actually see another class. There were holes between the classrooms. You could actually see what was happening in another class. So as I was speaking to parents, they said to me, the school has been stripped, it has been vandalized. So what the community did, they took everything that they could get their hands on, ceilings, desks, and you know, we've got a problem of shortage of desks in some of the schools. They took desks, doors, and anything that they could get their hands on. But then what shocked me is when they said that last year a body of a woman was found there.
At a school?
At a school, yes.
Whoa. And I mean, I don't even remember hearing about that. So obviously those are things that don't make unless people like you go out there and actually find these places.
It was found at the school, and now pupils have been moved to another school in another section, meaning that for them to get there, they need to use a bus. But if the bus leaves them, they have to walk.
Gosh, so it just keeps getting worse.
It keeps getting worse.
All
and,
right.
they were supposed to be there for 2 years. It's 4 years now.
Wow.
And no one is saying anything. And unfortunately, that construction is one of the constructions that have been terminated. So the department is still looking for a new contractor.
Okay, so your next mission is going to be the lawsuits. You're going to find out what exactly. Yes. And also, I mean, was this really just that we had some financial constraints, or was the money being pocketed elsewhere, or what's? I mean, just your gut feeling. Tell me before I let you go.
What I heard is that some contractors were paid, even though nothing happened. So I don't know how the department came about to pay those contractors without anything. But then now what the MEC said is that they've started, actually they launched an infrastructure technology last year, meaning that now they've got a dashboard to keep track of all the constructions in the...
And the millions that they're signing off.
Yes, and now contractors won't be paid without getting the work done.
Well, it's about time. I'm surprised we're only doing this in 2026, for goodness sake, and especially when we know, what is likely to happen in South Africa. Okay, well, Yoliswa, thanks very much, and I think there's lots of people who will be grateful that you actually delved into the story. It's time it stopped now.
That's very true.
Yeah, it's time it stopped, and keep track of what you're doing. No more excuses. Yoliswa, Tbo, thanks very much. I look forward to hearing about those lawsuits.
Yeah, thank you.
We'll talk about that one. Well, still to come here, we're going to be talking about another very juicy one. Remember DJ, is it Tbo Touch? Yeah, he's in a bit of trouble. A story involving an ex-friend. He's now an ex-friend and a very expensive car. That's on the way.
It's kind of a long hell.
Welcome back. This is the brief here on ENCA. Now, we continue our chat with the folks from the Sunday Times, and this is one of their big stories. I told you it was juicy. Popular DJ Tbo Touch Molefe and business mogul Lesiba Gwangwa are embroiled in a legal dispute. Molefe owes Gwangwa money after selling his Mercedes Maybach to the former Metro FM DJ before he moved to Australia. And Deputy Editor Mike Siluma back with us to tell us about this story. Wow. It's the first time I saw what a Maybach looks like, Mike. So I don't know how much it is. How much is it that Tbo Touch owes his now ex-friend?
From what I gather, I've never been inside a Maybach.
I didn't even know it was a Mercedes.
Shop floor, but apparently they sell from 3 million to 5 million, and the other side, depending on what's in them, what model, that kind of, but it's quite expensive.
Okay, so that's
several million.
Obviously selling that to pay off his debt. So, how big was this debt? What happened? How did he get there?
No, he had two problems. As he was leaving, he had, this is Tbo Touch.
Yeah, leaving for Australia.
He was organizing, because he was relocating his family to Australia. But, at about the same time, he was organizing a music concert. Which in which his friend, he calls him at some point he called him my billionaire friend. Lesiba Gwangwa. So he invited him to put in some money in there for that music concert. But then it bombed. Then obviously if that happens, people have to recoup what they are owed. So he was owing him part of the money that Gwangwa had put in, for the festival. But he was still wanting to leave, and then he went to him, apparently according to, the information that we're getting, that he went to him and said, look, I've got, I know I have to leave, but I've got financial problems. So can I sell my car, my wheels to you, as they call it, my wheels to you.
My very expensive wheels.
So that I can get some cash flow, as I'm preparing for my exit, So that deal went sour because then there was a shortfall on the car, The car was duly given to Gwangwa, but then there was a shortfall in that sale, So it's a sale that was very badly handled, the almighty mess.
An almighty mess.
But he ends up,
that,
but he ends up, Tbo Touch ends up owing Gwangwa. Now Gwangwa has gone to the lawyers and sent him a letter of demand, to say that he wants his money. you know.
Yeah, and especially with this concert. I mean, he was organizing a concert knowing he was about to, I don't know whether, I'm tempted to say flee the country because this is what is happening with him at the moment. But
I wouldn't say he was.
He could be legitimately there. But organizing this. So were there ticket sales already? Had he made any money, although the concert really didn't happen?
It didn't happen.
No. So he just held on to the money then, his friend's money, or used it to move abroad?
It was because, you know, some of where it came apart is that some of the acts that were going to come turned out to be quite expensive. You know, I think there were one or two from, you know, that were overseas acts. And the concert just didn't happen. You know, the whole plan fell.
Because I'm just wondering,
but the money had been
had been paid over to them. Okay, to the artists.
No, not to the artists.
To whom?
To Tbo Touch. You know, to organize the concert. To organize it.
So that's what I'm so where did the money go? What did he do? You didn't actually pay the artists. The concert never happened. You didn't actually, I'm imagining the venue probably was not paid for. So is that the question? Is that one of the questions?
The deal was that he was going to repay Gwangwa because Gwangwa had put money into the venture. He was going to repay. And because of his financial problems, he was unable to pay him back.
Okay.
That's what happened. But if you think you've got... Do you ever lend... How much would you lend to your friend? You know
what?
Do you have a limit
I try not to mix friendship and
friends?
Business. No. No. I'd rather gift you a voucher if I know times are, for a particular reason, if I know. But... well, I don't have that kind of money to lend anyone, Mike.
And you don't have that kind of car.
I don't have that kind of car. No, I don't have that kind of car. I mean, he's abroad now, so what happens? What do we do?
No, they're sending a letter of demand to him that they want the money. You know, so I don't know. His billionaire friend actually sending the letter of demand. So I don't know how they're going to handle it.
Does his billionaire friend really need this money? Is he starving at this point?
You know what they say about rich people, that rich people are the most miserly when it comes to money.
See, you and I wouldn't know.
They're very careful with the pennies.
You and I wouldn't know. Journalists, never well paid, right? We have no idea what this kind of money will do for us. Well, it's a very interesting one, and I'm sure Tbo Touch still having many fans here, despite moving to Australia. This won't go down very well with them as well. He's a Molefe. Any relation to some other controversial Molefes?
No. Okay. I won't go there. No.
Let's not go there. Okay, we'll leave it. We'll leave it at that.
You know, when we report sometimes in brackets, we say not related, unrelated.
Okay, unrelated. Okay, well, let's see what happens. Let's see if they can actually reach him, or the message or the letter gets delivered via email even to Australia, down under, and what happens. You'll keep us updated on the story to see if he gets his money back. All right, well... You can sort of go off to your billionaire friends now, Mike. I hope they're taking you somewhere very exciting for breakfast.
I'm looking for some, actually. I'm pleading. I'm asking.
I think we need to... I'm trying to become one, but it's just not happening. Well, thank you so much for this. I'm glad that the brief is back, and look forward to seeing you.
Same here.
Look forward to seeing you next Sunday. And BBK got off lightly today, but he needs to come back.
Sports, he's still resting.
Sports class needs to start.
The
he's not playing the sport.
Madala is so tired.
He's not playing sport. He's actually only reporting on it, so he can't be tired.
But he will be back.
Tell him I expect him here next week.
I'll tell him.
All right, thanks very much. Deputy Editor of the Sunday Times, Mike Siluma, wrapping things up for us here in the Sunday Times. Very interesting stories. You want to get more details, go off and get yourself a copy and read about it. And especially, if you wondered what a Maybach looks like, that's what it looks like there. It looks like a fabulous car. I want one, but I don't think I can afford one. That is it for me and the team here on the South African Morning. Thanks so much for joining us. Back next Saturday at 6 o'clock. It is a date. Kendall and the Newslink team coming up for you in just a couple of minutes. Have a great Sunday and good luck going back to work. And good luck to those matriculants as well as those results come out on Tuesday. Bye-bye from us.